How many have you gotten?
I'm on my second book, so I finished the first book.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you went all the way down to...
I mean, I didn't do literally every single one in here. It's, my book filled up, so I had to do one.
Oh, wow.
I travel out west a lot.
Okay.
Like Southwest and Western US, and there's all that out there.
Yeah, that's cool. Can I see the cover of it? That's cool. That's the real passport right there. That's awesome. What's up, peeps? Thanks for joining me. My name's Damon Warren, and this is Day One Adventures. On this week's adventure, I go for a ride with the Delaware Freedom Ride. It's a part of the Juneteenth celebration. This took place on Saturday, June 18th. And it was a combination of the Urban Bike Project and the Delaware Greenways. So it was a really great experience, got a lot of good information and history in Delaware. We started out at the old Newcastle Courthouse Museum. And it's right down in the old Newcastle, right along the water. That town, that area feels very classic. It almost felt like I got teleported to that time. And as we were there was a tour of the courthouse, and they did a dramatization of the Garrett Hunt trial. And I didn't even know who Thomas Garrett was, but Thomas Garrett was a pretty cool dude. Basically, he was an abolitionist and one of the leaders of the Underground Railroad. He was like one of the people that facilitated getting the slaves to the next stop. This trial, he got caught with slaves, and they prosecuted him, and they fined him like an incredible amount of money. Like, they were trying to break him financially. Like, the fine was for $10,000, which is the equivalent of $325,000 in today's money. And they fined him this money trying to break him financially. And at the end of the case, he said, if anybody else needs some help, come look for me. So he was very passionate about the freeing of the slaves. And here's another fact about that. Delaware was actually a slave state. So once slaves made it to Delaware, they had to go even further north to almost be free. And if they wanted to be really, really free, they had to go all the way to Canada. So that was a piece of information I got from the tour. It was a really nice place. Great presentation. So from the courthouse, we took the Jack Markell Trail to Wilmington, and it's about a 7-8 mile trek. So as we went along the trail to Wilmington, we would stop along the way and see different historical things, discussions, and that the information was provided by the Delaware Greenways. So what the Delaware Greenways is a bike path, walking path in Delaware. I'm not even sure how many miles, but it's a lot of miles, and I like riding my one wheel on it. So it's a lot of good fun and great scenery. So if you're ever down in Delaware, look for the Greenways. It's awesome rides. Team Preston. Hoyt Racing. Okay. I'm doing great. How about yourself today? Out here having a little walk?
We're running. Yeah, we got a long run to do today, so.
Oh, how far are you running today?
We're at 9 miles.
9 miles?
So we give adaptive bikes to children with special needs, and we planned on doing this and I forgot about it.
Oh, okay. That's what Team Preston is about?
It's Preston Smart for Energy.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just Team Preston is how we run and how we ride. I push them on my bike.
Oh, you pull them on your bike?
Yeah, I run and run on my bike.
Oh.
In 1813, Spencer led the movement that created the first independent black denomination in the United States. It would eventually result in the incorporation of the African Union Methodist, Protestant, and Union African Methodist Episcopalian denomination.
Help them out.
Thank you. Yes. Also known as the Spencer's Church or African Union Methodism. These churches embodied a growing desire on the part of Africans in America to be self-governed and to worship God according to the dictates of their own consciousness. They stood as the prime expression of resistance to African enslavement and segregation, and as a participant in some of the earliest organized protests for civil rights for the people of African descent in the United States. Spencer is also credited with launching the first peaceable assembly of African Americans, Big Quarterly, affectionately known as August, which continues to this day. On Juneteenth, 2022, we honor Peter Spencer's untiring commitment to religious freedom.
Yeah. So we stopped along the way, got the information. And then the ride finished up at the Tubman Garrett Riverfront Park. And when we got there, representatives from the Underground Railroad Coalition of Delaware gave us some more information and shared some stories, some of the facts that I didn't know about. The port right off of 7th Street. Underground Railroad operatives at the rocks on 7th Street Peninsula. So down 7th Street was a big port, and that's how a lot of slaves will be smuggled into Delaware to make it to the next stop, which was Marcus Hook. And they told us some tales of one of the captains, he acted like he was crazy and started ripping apart his boat when he got searched. He faked them out because he had a lot of slaves on that boat, and if he would have got found out, it would have been bad for everybody.
Was a Hall of Famer John Henry Pops Boyd Johnson, an intellectual baseball player with a skill for recognizing and developing talent, would in turn serve as a mentor for Hall of Famer Josh Gibson. In 1929, Johnson was named the Negro League's most valuable player by the Chicago Defenders and the Pittsburgh Courier, two leading African-American newspapers. He was the captain of the 1935 Pittsburgh Crawford Club that featured 5 future Hall of Famers himself, Cool Papa Bell, Oscar Charleston, and Josh Gibson. He retired as a player in 1937, having played his entire career in the Negro League. He is considered one of the best third basemen of all time. From 1971 to 74, Johnson served on the Hall of Fame committee on the Negro Baseball League. After stepping down from the committee, he was elected to baseball's Hall of Fame in 1975. On Juneteenth 2020, we honor Judy Johnson's dedication for breaking racial barriers. Now, yes.
Jules Johnson. How about that? Never knew that was here. History and health. So there were a lot of stories like that, and how Delaware was a key point in the freedom of the slaves that were seeking freedom and were being smuggled up north to be free. So there were a lot of tales, and how he was very helpful in the freedom of a lot of slaves. and how Harriet Tubman also worked with him, two people that worked for the freedom of other people. So we heard great stories. It was a beautiful ride. This was the second year for it. So I'm looking forward to next year. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet some really great people. And if you want to know some more information about the Urban Bike Project, the Delaware Greenways, or the Underground Railroad Coalition of Delaware, I have those links down in the description. And until next time, remember, take care of each other. Peace out, and I'll see you all soon.
As we're looking at Wilmington in the 1850s, as Jeff mentioned, we have that itineration of the Market Street Bridge, the primary entry point into the city. We're also geographically attractive, guys. Right? I know, right? We were at Tinder, we just swiped the right way, right? Casino River, like